Hi, I'm Kerry Spall. I'm a Senior Family Support Chaplain with the New South Wales Rural Fire Service.
And my name's Ian Spall and I'm the Senior Chaplain for the New South Wales Rural Fire Service. Well, we've been married for 32 years. We celebrated that on the 10th of January this year. We have two adult boys who are, well, young adults actually, who are working, and we've been Salvation Army officers for 17 years. And of that 17 years, 14 of those have been as Associate Chaplain with the Rural Fire Service, and then 2 years full-time.
So what was the interest of becoming involved with the Rural Fire Service?
Well, in a small community, there was a need on one particular day that started up a form of care that, I guess, evolved. What was the need? There was a need, and we came and came on board.
Now, looking at the Rural Fire Service Association, and what role does the RFSA have in the service you provide?
Well, we found the RFSA to be very supportive in providing a whole range of means for us to help others. We've become a vehicle for delivery of the services that the Rural Fire Service Association has provided for us.
Can you outline services that you do provide to New South Wales rural firefighters?
Well, we have a team of associate chaplains. We have about 50 spread out across the state, and Kerry and myself help organise a response to the needs if they're made known to us. And a lot of the local chaplains are connected and do their work without our care or support, but we do provide that for them. We provide visitation to people in hospitals. We do all the things that you would expect of a person who is a minister. We're actually Salvation Army officers, and we provide weddings and for funerals and for dedications for children of families. We provide support for people who are sick, injured or ill. We visit them in hospital. There's a whole range of things, really.
This service extends across to the whole family, not just the volunteer themselves?
Yes, it's very much recognising that as individuals, that's not the only person that's affected, and when there are things happening in the family unit, the service wants to look after the whole family.
What types of things do you do when you provide this support to the volunteer or the family?
Well, we identify the greatest need and we try and meet that need. We do that through visiting, we do that through listening.
We look for resources, and on some occasions we might be in a position to advocate for people and find what's going to help them most. Really, we come alongside the person in their journey, not coming with answers, but to journey with them for the short term and the medium term, till, I guess, some sense of balance or recovery comes.
Now, is this support just spiritual, or are there other areas of support that you're involved with as well?
Well, yeah, it is spiritual, but that's not the primary focus. We find that we try to start to build relationships. If we can build relationships with people and hear where they're at and listen and understand them, sometimes it actually turns into advocating for them, referring them to other services. Sometimes it's standing with them in the midst of a crisis simply by being there. Often it's listening and being a sounding board for the person to be able to tell the story. And it's only after there's been a relationship and only after there's been trust and rapport built does even the idea of spiritual help come. So it's not primarily spiritual, it's more relationship building and rapport building to help, I guess, just hear them where they are at.
Now, we've had a number of large and small fires across the state during the first couple of months of 2013. What sort of support have you been able to provide across the state to your fire service volunteers and others involved with those fires?
We've come alongside people who've lost their homes. There's been quite a number of 4 firefighters who've actually lost all their belongings and their dwellings. Some of those were directly related to the fire events. We've supported people who've been in hospital who've been injured in the course of their offering of support to the Rural Fire Service.
And the assistance has been available for us to bring family members alongside so they weren't separated from their injured loved ones, and we believe that that strongly helps in the recovery and that it takes a lot of the anxiety away.
Yeah. It's sometimes a person is moved from where they're normally at physically because of the need, and they're placed in a place that they're not used to, and having somebody to come alongside them to I guess liaise with the care providers, help make the process work smoothly.
For some of those people, we've also been able to liaise with social workers at the hospital and to assist in the process for them to have their workers' compensation claim processed.
In the initial stages, to help that go smoothly and quickly. Yeah.
Now you mentioned that it's not just the volunteers but the family that's surrounding those volunteers. How important is that relationship to extend it just beyond the volunteers but to the whole family?
Well, it's very important because it affects the whole family, and we want everyone to be cared for really well, and if one person's hurt in a family, the whole family feel it. In some cases it might be the primary breadwinner of a family, and coming along and providing that support to the family unit is a real strength.
While being very generic, you do talk with a lot of people, and not breaking any individual's confidence with you, but what are some of the things that people talk to you about during those conversations?
Well, undoubtedly it's the unfairness of life, and why, the question of why, and why has it happened to me, and the challenge to their belief system that their life should turn out a certain way and suddenly it doesn't unfold as they were hoping that it would unfold. They bring up things that have impacted them most significantly. Sometimes it's one little thing that's stuck in their head that they want to deal with, but they can't sort of get it out. And often having somebody just to really listen to them, to not bring your own agenda or to bring judgment, but just to listen and hear them, it sometimes helps them find the answer that they actually have inside anyway, but because of this turmoil they find it really hard to find where they really know they want to go. So it's coming on side.
Yeah, people have shared their hopes, their dreams, their frustrations and their anger at times. Really it's a space for them to release all of those emotions.
Yeah, they do get angry. And they talk about the loss that they can feel right here and now, and then what the future might look like, and how will they adjust to that. And sometimes there are in fact no answers. There's no reasonable answer that you could possibly give to some of those, to some of the questions. And I think really it provides a safe place for a person to be able to tell their ugly things that they really don't want to bring up, but given permission they do, and it helps, I guess, in a sense, clear it out of the way.
From the perspective of those individuals that you talk to, what sort of feedback do you get about the value of the outcomes that you try and provide and the discussions that you have?
Often people share that it made a big difference. I think it's the immediacy of response, of going right at the time of need, and people have often said it made such a difference to them. They felt better.
Yeah. When a person's fragile, having someone that comes alongside just for a short term to get them through while they regroup, and they do. They very often they just regroup and they move on and they're fine. It's just in that very early stages that come alongside.
So do you find that there are some positive outcomes? I'm sure there are negative outcomes, but to some people you do actually achieve something for them and they can progress on and move on with their life?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I think you find that a lot of people have what's called positive traumatic growth. Some people get stuck and don't heal necessarily quickly, but others see life and value things completely differently than they would have once valued. Suddenly the values have changed. You know, what they thought was important suddenly doesn't have that level of importance, and they let go of some things, and they appreciate life in a different way, and they, you know, refocus, and they let go of some things, don't they?
And we've witnessed some become quite empowered from a very fragile state to a really resilient state, which is very encouraging.
Yeah, absolutely.
Kerry, thanks very much for talking with us today.
You're very welcome.
It's been a privilege, and we really love working with the Rural Fire Service, and we really appreciate the Rural Fire Services Association's provision of care and support of us as people. We find them a wonderful organisation.